I just finished reading the Stormlight Archive books by Brandon Sanderson, and all I can say is, wow. Just wow. What a ride this series was from start to finish. At the start, it did take me a while to really get into it. Because of how much it just throws at you from the get-go, you're expected to keep up with so much, but when it gets going, you kind of do get the gist of it and you can follow it through. Not gonna lie, even though I've already finished it, I'm still gonna have to go back and reread them just so I can make sense of everything that's happened. Not only does this deal with your general epic fantasy stuff like big armies and magic and monsters and stuff, it also deals with people's mental health struggles and shows the different things that people have to deal with. And I think it does a great job at showing these things. Exploring the different aspects of mental health struggles such as depression and disassociation. Kaladin was such an exhausting protagonist to follow, but I mean that in a good way. You follow this guy through so much crap that by the end of it, you feel what he's been through. You can actually feel it through the pages. All the crap this guy's had to deal with. Also, Honor is dead, but I'll see what I can do. I went from thinking that Shallan was kind of boring, to being kind of interested in her, to being completely enthralled by her as you learn more and more about her in a backstory. Like some of the stuff that she does and she went through. Set's journey was amazing. When I first started reading and he was describing all the different lashings and things he was doing, I was just like, I cannot keep up with this. What am I reading on these pages? But when the magic system started being explored more and more with other people learning how to do it as well, it made more sense to me. It clicked and I got it. One of his standout moments in book 3 is genuinely one of the coolest fantasy things I've ever read. I did like how the antagonistic force was portrayed by exploring the Pashendi society and how they function the way they do. There was also plenty of human-on-human conflict sprinkled in there as well too, kind of interspersed, but I wish there was more of that, to be honest. I do wish some of those human antagonists stayed around for just a bit longer, just because of how entertaining they were when going up against other characters. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you might know who I'm on about. My favourite book of the series was probably Rhythm of War, just because that was Dalinar's book, and exploring his flashbacks was fascinating. Because you know how this guy is in the present day, and getting a chance to see how he was in the past completely reinforces why the way certain characters feel about him today. You can think, okay, this guy was a piece of shit, I get it. If I had to pick a favourite character, it would definitely be Adolin. I liked how he went from this kind of pretty boy player who you might end up hating to genuinely being one of the best friends anyone can ever ask for. The way his story played out and where he ended up was so perfect, and I'm so glad that his story didn't end up just being on the same path as others. I'm being vague here, but it's brilliant. My second favourite character is definitely the Lopen. He's less of a main protagonist than, say, the likes of Shallan, Kaladin and Adolin and Dalinar, but I think he's brilliant. He's so funny, and having him